For this DIY project, I decided to hang these cube shelves in my kids' playroom. This project ended up costing me next to nothing because I already had everything I needed, and the biggest expense, the shelves, I got from one of my neighbors who put it on the curb. Here is a list of everything I used to get the job done. I started out by marking all of my studs and my center point using the existing cube shelf for reference. I cut my 2x2 to fit inside the side walls of the cube shelf and mounted it to the wall using construction screws. I filled the screw holes with some joint compound before painting. I'm sure wood putty would have been better, but I didn't have any and this got the job done fine. Moving on to the cube shelves, I needed to cut out a 1.5 inch notch at the top for the 2x2. I marked my cut line along the back and then used the circular saw for my first cut. I made sure not to cut all the way through the sidewalls as I needed those to stay intact. I then used my oscillating tool with a wood blade to cut out the rest of the 1.5 inch notch, again making sure to not cut through the sidewalls or the top. I did end up removing the back panel since I was mounting it against the wall, and it made painting a lot easier too. I didn't need to paint this because it was already white, but I'm a little OCD and this really made it look like new. You can see here in the photo, I turned the unit upside down to paint it. I didn't paint the top because it was too high for anyone to see, and it allowed me to paint everything in one shot instead of waiting for it to dry and then having to flip it over before painting the last side. I used a roller for most of the painting and a brush to clean up the corners and where the paint would drip over the edges. Once the paint dried, I hung it on the 2x2 and then mounted it from the top with 5 construction screws. I drilled pilot holes first to avoid splitting the particle board or the 2x2. I wasn't too confident in the structural integrity of the shelf, so I added extra screws all the way around it. For the final touch, I applied some caulk to the left edge for a seamless look. Be sure to subscribe for future DIY projects. Thank you for watching DIY Dylan.